Because most believers on the earth are more frightened at the prospect of taking on the insurmountable giants represented by the mountains near them in their nations. They're more intimidated by trying to take possession of what is an opposition that has strength and fortification in the natural. From the IRS to Hollywood to whatever. Most believers are afraid. So they create a theology that eliminates the responsibility for having to take territory and rather focuses on just getting people saved so that when Jesus comes back, he can repopulate the earth with people that are followers and let him take over the planet. There's just a little problem with that. The little problem is heaven is his throne and earth is the footstool of his feet. He was told he was to sit at the Father's right hand until God made his enemies a footstool for his feet, which means he doesn't come back until he's accomplished the dominion of nations. The point is this: God wants to have the tabernacle at the top of every one of these spheres. You want to know what the spheres of the shape of a nation? This is how you take a nation. You have to get into the family. That's why same-sex marriage is such a demonic agenda. Get into the marriages, get into the marriage. Because whoever gets the family mountain shapes the idea of what culture is for a man and wife. You got to get into the education mountain. You know why? Because whoever's ideology is shaping that little kid when he's a child, by the time he's 19, hey, for all you know, he could become part of the Hitler Youth Movement and die for the Führer. So Hitler basically knew if he educated his kids, he'd have them as sons to go fight for him. Education mountain. Government mountain, where your laws get legislated. Media mountain, where the truth is debated. And the arts mountain, which is where a lot of times sports and creativity comes along. We got business and finance. Is it possible that there are 7 sovereign spheres of authority? By the way, that's how you take nations. It's the only way you take nations. There's never been a nation taken as a result of an evangelism harvest. Shocking but true. Believers don't know these things. That's why we get in trouble. You realize that when you have 8% of a population, that's the key. 8%, that's all it takes. 8%, according to the Center for Religion and Diplomacy, practice jihad. 8%, according to the research of James Davis and Hunter, are doing the same-sex marriage initiative. You've got 80% Jews and Catholics and Protestants, 35% of evangelicals, even Mormons. You have a very broad constituency of 85 to 90% of the American population is not for same-sex marriage. How is it that 8% can impose their agenda on the other 90%? It's not because we don't have enough converts to an idea. It's because when Satan is shrewder in his own generation than the sons of light, he makes sure that he has his prophets of Baal at the high places. So what you have is you have a well-positioned 8% whose agenda is working with the will of principalities and powers, while Christians are in pursuit of the supernatural or the glory or prosperity, but they're missing the apostolic assignment. They're to take over spheres and administrate them for the glory of God.
It was judges, not